Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. We were halfway through dinner when Ashley put her fork down and stared at me like she was about to confess to a crime. "Leonard," she said, voice steady but eyes flicking to her phone, "I want to be with you, but I need to sleep with my ex one last time. For closure." I didn't speak right away. She'd just detonated that sentence like it was a reasonable thing to say to your fiancé. I finally asked, "Damon?" She nodded. "We ended badly. There's unfinished business. I can't start our marriage without knowing for sure I've moved past him. It's not about love. It's about ending it completely." I kept my tone even. "You think sleeping with him ends it?" "It's part of the process," she replied quickly, like she'd rehearsed it. "We'd talk, spend the night, and I'd come back knowing you're the one I choose. I'm being honest because I respect you." Interesting choice of words. I leaned back in my chair. "When were you thinking of this closure?" "This weekend. He's in town for a show Friday night." She pushed her hair behind her ear. "We'd meet on Saturday. Just one night. I'd be back by Sunday morning." I looked at her, really looked at her, and realized she meant every word. "And you expect me to be fine with this?" She gave a small, hopeful smile. "I was hoping you'd understand. This way, we can start fresh. No doubts." The room felt quieter than it should have. I finally said, "All right, Ashley. Take all the closure you need." Her face lit up instantly. "Really? You mean it?" "Of course," I said. She got up from the table and kissed me like she'd just won something. "You're amazing. This is why I love you." I smiled back, but my mind was already somewhere else entirely. That night, after she fell asleep, I opened her phone. If she wanted closure, I wanted clarity. The messages with Damon made her intentions obvious, and that gave me an idea. The next morning, Ashley acted like we'd just agreed on a weekend getaway. She hummed while making coffee, texting under the counter when she thought I wasn't looking. "When do you leave on Saturday?" I asked. "Around 6, she said without looking up. "Fine," I replied. "Just keep your phone on. Send me the address when you head out, for safety." She grinned. "Of course, you're so understanding." By mid-afternoon, her closure weekend had already taken shape. I saw a boutique hotel charge on our shared credit card, 2 nights downtown, far from Damon's supposed show venue. A quick glance at her open laptop revealed an email to him. "Can't wait for Saturday. Let's make it special." That's when I decided I wasn't going to confront her with words. I'd let her walk into her own mess. Ashley told her parents she was going on a wellness retreat with friends. To her best friend Claire, she said it was a creative project with an old colleague. Not one story matched the other. I called Maya, her older sister. We'd always gotten along. She was blunt, didn't play games. "Hypothetical question," I started. "If your sibling said she wanted one last night with an ex before marriage, what would you do?" There was silence on the line then. I'd want proof before I believed she was that reckless. "You'll have it," I said. "I might need you to be there." Maya didn't ask why. "Tell me when and where." By Friday night, Ashley had a suitcase half-packed in the spare room. New dress, new heels, and a little black bag she kept zipped shut. She was careful not to leave her phone unattended. But I already had what I needed: her messages, the hotel confirmation, and a plan. Saturday would be her big night, just not in the way she imagined. Saturday evening, Ashley left in a rush, suitcase rolling behind her. She gave me a quick kiss at the door. "Thank you again for understanding, Leonard. You'll see. This will make us stronger." I smiled faintly. "Drive safe. Text me when you get there." At 6:27 p.m., my phone pinged. A location share, an artsy downtown hotel. Definitely not near Damon's supposed show. Maya pulled up outside my building 15 minutes later. "You sure about this?" she asked from behind the wheel. "I just want her to see the situation for what it is," I said. "No yelling, no scene, just clarity." We parked across the street and walked in like we belonged there. Halfway down, Damon's voice carried from an open door. He was laughing, low and smooth. Ashley stepped into the hallway. She froze when she saw me. "Leonard, what are you—" I held up a small envelope. "Ashley, I'm pausing the wedding. Here's the statement for you to read when you're ready. I'll hold on to the ring once you're ready to give it back." Her eyes darted to Maya, who stood behind me, arms crossed. "This isn't—" Damon appeared in the doorway. "Hey man, You didn't say you were coming up. I wasn't invited, I said evenly. But I thought you both might appreciate knowing the wedding is on hold. Indefinitely. Ashley's face flushed deep red. Leonard, you're making this sound worse than it is. I'll have your things sent over tomorrow. Damon leaned on the doorframe, trying to look casual. You could have just talked to her at home. I met his eyes. And you could have stayed out of a committed relationship. But here we are. Ashley's hand trembled. She didn't say another word as Maya guided her toward the elevator. Ashley showed up at my apartment the next morning with fire in her eyes and her sister trailing behind her. She didn't even wait for me to open the door fully before pushing past me. You humiliated me, she snapped, tossing her overnight bag onto the couch. Showing up like that, like some jealous, controlling... You asked to sleep with your ex, I said, keeping my voice level. I told you to go ahead. You did. I just changed the terms after seeing the full picture. It wasn't about being intimate, Leonard, she said, pacing like she was on trial. It was closure. Emotional. I opened the hallway closet and pulled out a small duffel I'd already packed with her essentials. You'll stay with Maya for a week. We'll both think about what we want. She scoffed. So now you're kicking me out of our home? Our home assumes mutual respect, I replied. Right now, that's not here. Ashley's tone softened, but her words didn't. I was honest, Leonard. Most people would just sneak around. Doesn't that count for anything? Honesty is telling the truth before you act, I said. Not after you've booked the room. She snatched the duffel off the floor and brushed past me. You're throwing away 3 years over one night? No, I said. I'm ending it over the fact you thought it was an acceptable question. Maya opened the door, and Ashley stormed out without another word. 3 days later, Damon showed up at my office unannounced. Security called me down, saying there was a guest asking for me by name. He was leaning against the wall in the lobby, wearing a leather jacket and sunglasses indoors. When he saw me, he straightened up like he was about to start a negotiation. Leonard, he said, pulling off the shades. We need to talk. About what? Ashley told me you two were basically over, he said. She made it sound like you were controlling and that this was just her way of getting closure. I didn't know you were still engaged. I didn't flinch. That's one story she told. The other involved us starting our marriage after she spent the night with you. He looked away for a second. It wasn't going to be a big deal. Just old times. We weren't planning some grand affair. You booked a hotel, I said. That's not old times. That's intent. Damon's jaw tightened. Look, man, I'm not looking for anything serious. I thought she understood that. I tilted my head. Then you've got nothing to lose by walking away right now. He smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. You're acting like you own her. I don't, I said. She's free to do whatever she wants. She just won't be doing it while she's with me. Damon's posture shifted, the swagger draining out. So, what? This is you marking territory? No, I replied. This is me ending a deal that stopped making sense the second she made that request. He shoved his hands into his jacket pockets. Fine, whatever. She's not worth the drama anyway. That's the first thing we've agreed on, I said, then turned to head back upstairs. When I looked over my shoulder, he was already leaving the building. Maya called me 2 nights later. Mom and Dad want to talk, she said. Ashley's pushing for a sit-down. We met at a quiet cafe on the east side. I got there early and chose a table in the corner. Ashley arrived with her parents, Carol and Stephen, trailing behind her. She sat across from me, folding her hands like we were in a mediation session. Leonard, I think we can work through this. I'm willing to do couples therapy, whatever it takes. I didn't look at her right away. Before we discuss whatever it takes, let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. I slid my phone across the table, screen lit with her message to Damon. Can't wait for Saturday. Let's make it special. Beneath it, the hotel confirmation. Carol's lips pressed into a line. Ashley says it wasn't going to be physical. I raised an eyebrow. New dress, new heels, night booked, and a playlist titled Last First Time. But nothing physical? Stephen stared down, saying nothing. Ashley's voice rose slightly. You're twisting it. It was about closing a chapter so I could give you all of me without any baggage. I leaned forward. You wanted to give me all of you after giving him a part of you first. That's not how it works. Carol jumped in. This is one mistake. Don't throw away a future over it. It's not a mistake, I said evenly. It's a decision she planned for days and lied about. That's not one bad moment. That's a pattern. Ashley's eyes flashed. So that's it? You're just walking away? I held out my hand. The ring. I'll handle my side of the vendor cancellations. You can handle yours. She hesitated, then clutched it tighter. No, I'm not giving this up. I met her stare. Ashley, this conversation isn't about what you're giving up. It's about what's already gone. Stephen finally spoke, his voice low. Give him the ring. Her hand shook as she set it on the table. A month later, I was at a charity gala for a mutual friend's nonprofit. It wasn't my scene, but I'd promised months ago, and I wasn't about to skip it because of her. Half an hour in, I saw Ashley walk in wearing a deep red dress. On her arm was Damon. She was smiling too wide, scanning the room like she wanted to be noticed. They made their way to a table near the stage. I didn't acknowledge them at first. I was talking with colleagues when I felt someone behind me. Leonard, she said brightly, as if nothing had happened. You look good. I glanced at Damon, who gave me a quick nod like we were old friends. You two enjoying the evening? I asked. We're just talking, she said, a little too quickly. In that dress? I said, keeping my tone casual. Sure. Her eyes narrowed. You don't have to be sarcastic. I sipped my drink. I thought you said he was just a chapter you needed to close. Seems like you reopened it. Damon shifted uncomfortably. She told me you guys were over, like, officially. Ashley shot him a glare. We are. I tilted my head. She told her parents it was therapy, told me it was closure, told you it was over. Which one's the truth? Silence settled over the small circle that had formed around us. A couple nearby had stopped pretending not to listen. Damon put his hands up. I'm not doing this here, he muttered and walked away toward the bar. Ashley reached for his arm, but he didn't stop. She turned back to me, voice rising. You love making me look bad, don't you? I shrugged. I don't have to try. Her cheeks flushed as one of her coworkers stepped in and gently took her by the elbow. They led her out of the room. The people who'd been eavesdropping went back to their conversations, but I could feel the shift. Whatever image she'd been trying to project that night, she'd lost it in under 5 minutes. By midweek, she was texting me paragraphs. We can fix this. I'll never speak to Damon again. It was one night that didn't even happen. I replied once, wishing you clarity. Then I blocked her number. Maya called that evening. She's been blowing up everyone's phone, she said. Mom's still trying to spin it as a misunderstanding. I'm not getting pulled back in, I told her. The request was the deal breaker. The rest just confirmed it. Over the next few days, the noise faded. No more surprise visits, no more public scenes. Damon disappeared from her social media entirely. Whether he'd ghosted her or she'd moved on to another closure, I didn't care. The apartment felt different, quieter, but not empty. I started running in the mornings again, something I'd stopped doing when we got engaged. It cleared my head in a way conversations never could. One Saturday, a friend invited me to a small gathering. That's where I met Elena. Nothing dramatic, no instant movie spark. Just an easy conversation with someone who thought loyalty wasn't a negotiable trait. I didn't tell her about Ashley. Not then. That chapter was closed for me, the lock sealed. Still, every now and then, I'd think back to that dinner. The way Ashley had sat across from me, steady voice, saying, I want to be with you, but I need to sleep with my ex one last time for closure. Like it was a favor to both of us. She wanted closure. She got it, just not the kind she expected. And I got mine too. Thank you for watching.